Wow, I'll tell you what. Everybody that works in that office upstairs, and that's changed throughout the years. In 12 years, Sue Newcomb was here when I first got here. Could not have been nicer. Paul Chambers, what a gentleman. The staff that's there now, Linda Yost, just did an amazing job, not only for me this year, but in my personal opinion, for the whole athletic department, because she had to wear a lot of hats this year and do a lot of things that might not have normally been her job, and never took it out on me. As frustrated as she may have been, and I was part of that frustration, she was amazing. And, yourself, you were the trainer when I came here. Now I call you Little Lonnie, but you're the assistant AD, and you were a guy that I could call and talk to and just say, hey, look, this is what's going on. And your strong point, John, was the fact that you told me what was going on. I didn't have to like it, but you told me what was going on, and I had to understand it. And I'll live with that. That's all I've ever wanted from anybody. Personally speaking here, I love all the other coaches. Jerry Matthews makes me laugh every single day. I just like being around those guys. I think they're really good for the kids and for the college itself. Jim Guatney. Jim Guatney is the closest friend that I had here. And, we know each other personally and socially and professionally. And I have the utmost respect for him and certainly appreciate his friendship in 12 years. Scott Fisher, and Scott Fisher. No, there's a number of players. Every night when I'm watching TV, my wife gets so frustrated because I'm making up lineups, I'm doing batting averages, I'm looking at defensive schemes, how am I going to beat this? I've lost all that now, and it's been 2 months. And I reach for the pad and the pen, and I got nothing to write on it. So the other day I was doing like my all-time favorite Stockton team, my all-time favorite Millville team, the high school I coached, and then the all-time favorite Cumberland County team. That was fun. And the names that start to come back to you are great. But Scott Fisher was just an amazing baseball player. And his final year here, I think the common denominator every game that he played in by the opposition was, oh my God. We were playing at William Patterson, and Fisher hit a ball that I think it might still be going. I'm not too sure. There's huge trees in right field that are at least 500 feet away from the field. The third baseman, the minute the ball was hit, said, oh my God. And I'm standing next to him coaching third. And I'm just following the ball that's still rising as it hits the trees. He ended up hitting 2 home runs that game. I think he had 3 doubles. He had just an amazing day. Did the same thing down in Florida. Our game had been rained out in the morning, so I let the kids have the day off. They went to the movies, and anybody knows Fisher, man, he's a beach bum. He surfs 24/7. And Fisher went out surfing, my pitcher. We get a phone call at 4 o'clock that our game is 5 o'clock. Like, we had no time to get anybody. Fortunately, we were able to get everybody round up. And I told Fisher he's still pitching. He had been surfing all day. Pitched a 4-hitter, had 12 strikeouts, and just did an amazing job. Final Scott Fisher story I remember was going to Ramapo. And anybody that's ever heard of Scott Fisher knows that he played with the Little League team from Toms River. National TV, the whole thing, and he got a lot of accolades for that. And he also had an amazing high school career, but people remember the Little League stuff because it was national. And we get to Ramapo College, and I think all the dorms emptied out. And they're in the bleachers, and they're not letting off of him at all. I mean, he's warming up, and they're on him, and they're saying, this guy's supposed to be a stud, this guy's supposed to be an all-star, he doesn't look so good to me. The hardest pitch I've ever seen thrown by a Stockton pitcher was thrown first pitch of the game, strike 1. I thought my catcher's hand broke. Fisher threw that hard, and you heard a gasp in the stands. And I'll never forget Mr. Fisher just looking down at the guys who were busting his chops like that. It was a great day. Matty Allen's his senior year, when he broke the record for hitting, he had like a week where he had 15 hits. I mean, he just, he was impossible to get out. Great player. David Hall. David Hall has the record here for ERA. An amazing pitcher, and I mean that in terms of the word pitcher. David could literally put a ball any place he wanted to put it with just enough spin on it where you couldn't hit it the way you wanted to hit it. I asked him about it one time, and he said he pitches backwards. If he knows they're looking fastball, they're getting the opposite. And if he knows they're looking for junk, they're getting a fastball. But he never threw it over the middle of the plate. It was always on the inside black, the outside black, dropping out of the strike zone. And I can't remember his ERA, but it was like 1.7 something. He had the school record for wins on teams that were not that good. I mean, he won 7 games when I think the whole team might have won 16. So, David Hall's performances were very good for us. Best pitcher I ever coached here. Very good. Scott Fisher was a two-way player for us, transferred to us from Seton Hall. Played 2 years for Seton Hall, and I guess he just wanted to come home, and it was between us and William Patterson, I believe. And Scott's mom's a local teacher, and I think she had a lot to do with him staying local after being away, and I'll be forever grateful to her for that. Scott Fisher came to us as a left-handed pitcher, which is, so rare to get them, and that's the way I looked at him. I didn't know much about his hitting prowess. I needed a left-handed pitcher, and in college, I don't like pitchers to hit. You can't serve two masters. And Scott never said a word. One time when we were interviewing him, he did say, I also hit. And I said, well, all we're going to do is pitch you for a while. We'll see how that goes. And I didn't do it. He didn't say anything. He was great. I mean, talk about it, just a great kid. We got like 4 games into the season, and I don't know if I let him take batting practice or what I did, but boy, put on a show. And it was like, what kind of idiot coach doesn't let this kid hit? So Scott ended up playing first base, DH for us, and I think a few games I even threw him in the left field. And on a baseball field, there was nothing that kid couldn't do. Set pretty much every record here, offensively and defensively, as a pitcher and also as a hitter. I think the home run record now is 12 or 13. Scott Fisher did all that. Chris Crescenzi, also a transfer, went to Delaware Valley, and not Delaware Valley, I'm sorry, Wilmington College. I knew it was over by his house. Went to Wilmington College, came here as a catcher, immediately won the job, did an amazing job for us, offensively and defensively. Chris's junior year, defensively, he had taken a beating. And I'm sure it's because I was catching him every single game. And, we talked about his pop time, how he needed to get that below 2.0 if he was going to be considered a complete catcher. And, he had pro aspirations and everything else. And he worked on that. I mean, I would love to take that credit, but, all we did was talk about his feet and talk about his release and things that he needed to improve upon. And he did. He did all the hard work. He pretty much every day in practice worked on that to his times were like a 1.9, 1.8 his senior year here at Stockton, and he continued to hit the cover off the ball and ended up signing not one but a few professional contracts. He played overseas in Italy, and I know he played out in the Midwest and the Frontier League. So Chris had quite a career at Stockton and after he left Stockton. Both Fisher and Crescenzi, John, I'm throwing this out there, they got to be in Stockton's Hall of Fame very soon. Got to be. Those two guys pretty much were Stockton baseball for so many years.